We'll be discussing about the SSIS, okay? How to create your first SSIS packages. Before going to that, I'll give an overview, okay? What the SSIS means, it's a SQL Server Integration Services. It is a ETL tool. It is used for extract transform load, where you can take the data from multiple sources, source 1, source 2. Like source 1 might be a text file, okay? And source 2 might be a DB2 database. Like that, you might have multiple sources from different different sources. Now you take the data from all the sources or few of them, and then you will be loading the data into multiple destinations. You might load into one destination, you might load into other destination, or whichever way the product is made for. Okay, destination might be a SQL server, or it might be a text file too. You will load the data from your database to a text file. Okay, that all you will be doing by using SSIS. Take the data from different sources and transform them and load into a destination. The transformation process means if you load the data from multiple sources, they might not follow the same standard. Let's assume in the one company, they might be storing the date under the date column itself. But in some companies, they'll store the date in the three different year, month, and day. Like that, they might store the date in three different columns. So they might be following different standards. So you have to, whenever you load the data, whenever you combine two different sources, you'll make sure that combination will be the same. You'll make sure that the date and year combination will be the same. Okay, the combination means the format will be the same. Year, date means always it will be 2013. Let's assume 0101. When you combine into three different columns, it will be like this: 2013, month is 01, day is 01. But since both are in different formats, you will convert either this one into three different fields, or you will convert these three fields into a single field. That depends on your business requirements. Okay, that is nothing but the transformation. Okay, then you'll create SSIS package. If you execute it, by default the data from whatever the package you have written, that will be done. Okay, that package will execute and you can see the result. Now what we are going to do is that in order to execute the SQL server, in order to create the SSIS package, you can create it on the data tools. There's a tool called data tools. Okay, data tools. I'll go with the data tools 2015, SQL Server 2015. And guys, one more thing you have to remember: prior to SQL Server 2012, they used to call it as a Visual Studio. Okay, Visual Studio means it's an SSIS. SSIS means nothing but the Visual Studio. But now they will be calling it as a data tool, but at the back end, it is a kind of a Visual Studio only. Now, when I open this, I'll get this window. Okay. Now I think it's starting. So let's see. Wait for a few minutes. Okay. Now I'll get this window. What I'll do here, I'll go to the file. Click on new project, file, new project. When I click on the project, now you can see I said Microsoft MSBA. It's a MSBA, Microsoft Business Intelligence. When I explain the business intelligence, then I'll get analysis services, integration services, and reporting services on the left side. Okay, and at the same time you can also see, whenever I click any of the services, the right side will be changing. First, out of these three, we'll go with the integration services only. It's an integration services, right? We'll go with that. In the integration services, you got the integration services project and integration services import project wizard. Import project means if you have project in some other location, you can import it. And the right side, you can see the description for that. If I click on the import wizard, then I'll get description what that task will be doing. If I click here, then that description got changed. Okay, accordingly you can select. Generally, since I don't want to insert, I want to create a new project, I'll select integration services project. And then after selecting, now you can see at the bottom, you can see name, location, and solution name. Okay, how the projects will be defined is, you should always have a solution. Okay, under the solution you will have projects. Under the projects you will have SSIS packages. This SSIS package will always have extension DTSX. SSIS package will always have an extension with DTSX. Like text to file will have the extension .txt, right? The same way SSIS package will have the extension with .dtsx. Now, what I am going to do, I will open this. What I want to name it as, I will name it as a SQL class June SQL class. This is my project name, and the solution name I will name it as SQL class. Solution name I will name it as a SQL class. Here I will name one more thing, June SSIS. I will name SSIS June class. Okay, I will name it as a project name as June class, and then the overall the solution will be SQL class, because solution will be on the top. Under solutions you will have multiple projects. Under projects you will have the packages. My solution is SSIS class, and then my project is SSIS class. That is my project. See, solution is SQL class and my project is SSIS class. Okay, or else here I can write it in a better way, MSBI class. MSBI means you can have SSIS, you can have SSIS, you can have SSIS too. Now I will click OK. When I click, I can see a window here. I will get a window now. So now here, this is my solution. Under the solution, I got a project called SSIS June class. Okay. Under the project, if I expand, I got multiple folders: project parameters, connection managers, SSIS packages, package parts, and miscellaneous. Don't worry about this. Okay, we are going to learn each and everything later on. But now currently we will concentrate on the SSIS package. By default, whenever you create a SSIS1, by default you will get one package there. By default, you will get one SSIS package. By default, that will be a name with the package.dtsx. As I said, the extension will be DTSX, right? You can see the extension here. Okay, always I'll get a package here. Then, that is by default, you'll get one package. Now, if you want to rename the package, you can rename it. If you want to rename the package, you can right click and rename it to my, my first package. Okay, my first package. Now, what we are going to do in the first package is, let's assume we have table in two different databases. Okay, I want to move the data from one server to other server. Let's assume I want to move the data from one server to other server. I'll show it to you now. I'll show it to you in T-SQL. Then that one, the same concept we'll implement here in the SSIS. Okay. So in the T-SQL, I have one server Virat. That is my server. And next I have one more server with the different name. Okay, I have one more server. This is other server I have. Now what I want to do is that from Virat SQL 2016, okay, there is a database called SQL class, or I'll say test security. In the test security, there is a table called customer. Okay, there is a table called customer. My requirement is that I want to move this table from this test security database and this table to Virat server, this server. Okay, Virat in this server, I want to move the table from this server to that server. Okay, for this customer table, I assume the customer table doesn't have any data, right? So what I will do, I will not take the customer because I don't want to take the table which doesn't have any data. Let's take the SQL class. SQL class has some test table. Okay guys, I think this doesn't have any data, so we'll go and check this table, this database. This Virat has the data in that. Okay, I know I did a lot of things that will have the data. So in the tables, I got the customer in the Virat. I'll do select top 1000 rows. Now there will be data in the customer here. Okay, there is the data here. But what I want to do is that I want to move the data from the customer table in the security database on Virat server to this server SQL database, or else I want to move it to the SQL class database. Okay, I want to move that table to the SQL class database. I'll just remove it because this is not there in this one. You will be confused or else. I'll move it into this database. Okay, like SQL class database from Virat to SQL class. This server. From this server to this server, I want to move one table. Now, what generally you do here? You have to create a linked server on the second one. Assume this is a SQL Server 2006 is a target, right? It's a destination for us. So you need to create a linked server on the destination pointing to this server, source server, and then you will write a query and then you will insert. Now the same process we are going to do in the SSIS. So in SSIS, this is on the right side. On the left side, you can see multiple tabs. Okay. First, don't worry about each and every tab. I'll explain the tab later on. But just at the high level, you need to know how we load it. So whenever you want to load the data from different sources, you will use the data flow task. Now what I'll do, I can drag and drop the data flow task. I'll click the data flow task. When I open, now see my options will be changed here. Previously, when I'm in the control flow, I got different selections. When I click this, I'll have the different selections and I'll be moved to the data flow. We're going to discuss later on about this. Now, I want to get the data from the SQL Server database. That will be you will use a OLEDB source. I want to load the data into the different database. Okay, I want to load the data into the different database. Which database it is? It is also SQL Server, but it's on a different server, OLEDB destination. Now what I will do, I'll click on the SQL Server, SQL source, or else the best other thing I'll do is that on the bottom you got the connection manager. I'll click on the connection manager here and click new OLEDB connection. Okay, and here what is my source here? My source is I want to get the data from Virat server and the database is test security and the table name is test DBO customer. I'll take the server name copied. Okay, cancel. Then I'll paste the server name here, like the same connection, new. How I'll do this? I'll disconnect and I'll show it to you. I'll cancel this. How I do? I create a connection. In the connection manager, right click on the OLEDB connection because I want to connect to the SQL server. You will always use the OLEDB. Now you'll have all the data connections. If you have created one, that will be shown here because since I haven't created anything, it is not showing. So I'll click on the new. After clicking on the new, I'll get the server name. I'll give that Virat. Then automatically I'll get an option to select the database. I'll select which database it is. It is a test security database. That's it. You have to give only server name and database. Done. Okay. And then I'll click OK. I'll got it here. See. Then I'll click OK. Automatically the connection will be shown here. Okay. Test security. This is my source. Now I want to store the table in a different database, right? I want to load the table into other database on other server. So and I'll take the connection for the server 2. I'll copy the server name and paste it here. And which database I want to load into the server? I want to load it into the SQL class database. I'll select the SQL class. Done. Okay. Now I can see the connections here. Okay, server name database, server name database. By default, you will be getting that. But now what I will make is that I'll make this as a source connection. Rename. I'll make it as a source database, source customer, because we are loading the customer, right? And I'll name this as a destination, a target, destination customer. Okay, that is a database server name and database name, right? Now I'll click on this OLEDB source. This is a source. I'll take the source customer properties. I'll click on this. When I click on this, I'm again doing that. I'll click on this data flow. This nothing but the source. When I click on this, I'll get whatever the connection managers I got here. By default, it will select any one of them. But I want the source customer. I'll select click OK. In the source customer, which table I want? At the bottom, you can see the table here. Okay, and here you can have different actions. You can use a table, you can have the SQL command directly, you can use a variable you can get the table name from the variable, you can also use the SQL command from the variable. All properties are there. First we will go with the default selection itself, table. This is a customer, I got it. And then on the left side you can see the column. When I click the column, I'll get all the columns that are there in the customer. Whichever columns I want, I can select it here. If I want only one column, I can select it here. If I want all columns, then I can do all columns. Okay. Then I'll click OK. And before that, you can also see in the connection manager, you have the preview data. When I click, I can see the top 200 rows listed here. Now once I am done with this, I'll click OK. I got the source. I'll name it here. How can you name? Right click on the task, do the rename, and name it as source underscore customer. We'll give the naming standards, source underscore customer. This is a customer source table. Next, this is the destination, so we'll name it as DEST destination underscore customer. Now we are given the path here. What is source? Now let's try to click on the destination. When you try to click on the destination, you will have an issue. What is saying? This component has no available input columns. Without the input, you can't do anything on the destination. So for that purpose, you will select this green one. Red one is yellow. We are going to learn about them too. We will drop the blue one. Sorry, you will drag and drop the blue one on this one. When you have connected that one, now you can see. When you click, okay. Now what will happen? Now it will ask for the destination. Okay, destination you are given. On the destination table, you don't have the customer table there. You don't have the customer table. Now you want to create the customer. How to create? Click on the new here. When you click, automatically based on the input data, automatically a customer table will be created there on the server. Okay. Automatic customer table will be created. Mappings. Okay. See CNAME. See by default, whatever the data you are getting from the source, this is a source, this is a destination, see, available destination. Based on the source, if the column names are same in the destination, then automatically it will be mapped. Sometimes it will not be mapped. If the names are different, it will not be mapped. Then you have to manually go here, select this, click on this, drag and drop on to this. Automatically it will be linked. Or else you will always get all the columns in the destination. Since you don't have any mapping for the source, click on this and you can map like this too. Okay, this is for the mapping. I create the mapping. I have created. Now see, there is nothing. What I am going to do, I am going to check whether I have that table created here or not. I have the table created here or not. So this is in the SQL class, right? SQL class, refresh. Tables. See, now the table has been created. When you set the create table there, automatic table has been created. Now see whether I have the data in the table or not. Right click. Yeah, it is slow. Right click, stop 1000 rows. Now this doesn't have any data, right? It will not have any data. Now I'll run the package and see. So in order to run this package, you can do it in two ways. Click on the package and execute, or else open the package, a window will be open here, and then you will have the start button here. Click on it. Automatically the package will execute. See, you have the package executed. You can see the green arrow. That is nothing but the package is executed. And what you did, you loaded the data from the source to target. Okay, see, this is a source, this is a target, and you got the green means it is successfully completed. There is no error. And how many records you loaded into destination? You can see 6 records. Now we will go and run the query again, the same query. Now you can see 6 records in the destination table. This is nothing but the SSIS package. This is a basic SSIS package, how to load the data from one server to table in one server to table in other server. Okay, so everyone is good with this? Oh, nice. This is a basic SSIS package that I have created so far. Okay, then based on this only, you guys will be doing whatever operations you want, like whatever the complex thing you want, that all you will be taking care.